Fall has come to Millwood, the city where Richard Anderson lives. A city neither small nor large, but smarge, if you will. People here live, work, do things for each other, and pretend to care for one another. This is the story of one day in Millwood, just any day. The story begins during the early morning. Everyone is asleep, save for Richard's syphilitic grandfather and his ever-shrieking wail from upstairs. But while most people are still asleep, many are at work at the world's oldest profession. That's right, there's men at the dairy plant. Using a brand new machine they call a rinsing machine. After getting dressed for any emergency steakhouse dinner calls, Richard's milkman delivers milk. While Richard continues to waste his potential in bed, bakers at the, bread place give the delivery man his daily bread, for they are truly gods among us. Wake the fuck up already, Richard. Long before schools and stores open, trucks filled with used piss bottles in the cab haul precious food in their trailers. And from the meat truck, the butcher is already beating his product on the street. Yes, Richard's community is always at work. Except for Richard. What a lazy piece of shit. In the building for women who pretend they contribute, switchboard operators are given a giant electronics board that they tinker and toy with, while their supervisor laughs because he never plugged it in. Let's quickly get back to having a man on camera so we can all relax and feel confident again, shall we? At the city's water plant, this valve needs to be turned. And the day is saved. At the power plant nearby, engineers look busy by drawing dirty cartoons in their notebooks. At the post office, slack-jaw Ted fruitlessly tries to sort all the mail himself. The rest of the staff don't have the heart to tell him that those envelopes are empty. Throughout much of the night at the newspaper office, the morning newspaper scrambles to fight its inevitable obsolescence in 50 years. Getting up time is getting closer. The newsboy is already bringing a paper with today's headline, which reads, "Richard Anderson is a lazy bitch." Now that it's 3:40 p.m., Richard's day is finally beginning. Every day on his way to the factory, Richard sees the people of his community slowly becoming more tolerant of the Japanese. Richard isn't sure how he feels about that one. People like the lineman whose job... Oh my god, what's that on the power lines? El Diablo. Richard has never truly stopped to think about how the people of this city depend on each other, and today is no exception. This grocery store features the finest wares, including wearable finds and wine fairs. But what if there wasn't a grocery store? And no slave auction? Or no furniture store? Ponder those questions yourself as we hear a quick word from our sponsor. New from the makers of patented leather dress suits and bottled air comes Fume. Cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits. And we're not talking about calling up the joke hotline for the latest trending gigglers using a rotary phone. We're referring to a topic quite uncomfortable for all you ladies and fellas of weak disposition in the audience. If you happen to be a fan of the devil's sticks, as we'll call them, why not remove the bad from your daily breakfast? Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device designed to make it as easy to breathe as it sounds on TV. Instead of pocket-sized electronics only found in science fiction, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, that precious gas that costs taxpayers millions of dollars a year to make, Fume uses flavored air. And instead of all those communist chemicals, Fume uses all-natural delicious ingredients. You may be yourself a non-believer and think switching to Fume is the stuff of witchcraft. But I'm here to tell you, friend, that over 150,000 can't be wrong. That's just science. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com/Huggbees or scan the QR code and use code Huggbees to get 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. What's a QR code? I have no idea, but as the Lord is my witness, in this year, 1952, it will be the year of the QR code. The Fume Solano launched last November 6th. You can upgrade your Journey Pack to the Solano to enjoy the premium walnut barrel and onyx black coated mouthpiece as a smoother finish. finish and still get 10% off. Go to tryfum.com and use code Huggbees to save an additional 10% off of your order today. A community needs many kinds of people doing many kinds of work. This man's entire job is to open doors for people. Wait a minute, he's not supposed to get in with her. There's plenty of ways to travel to your job in the city, whether by taxi, by car, or your own 2 feet. Even more people use buses, a trend which we only expect to be the standard for the next 50 years. We suspect there will only be buses on the road by the year 2023. There's even buses that only allow dogs. And there's a motherfucking choo-choo train, the undisputed coolest transportation there is. Trucks carry mail and gain experience, eventually hoping to evolve into helicopters. Helicopters gain flying type, and come loaded with pirated movie DVDs for the townsfolk. If exposed to a dawnstone, helicopters evolve into airplanes. Listen for the cry of its propeller, which sounds like this. These executives come to Millwood City to ask which way is business. Although Richard has never thought about it, he too has an important job in his community: local pot dealer. Whether it's a person on the street or in an automobile, or the scientists in the Give Birds Huge Rocking Tits Foundation, people in the community depend on one another. All the Benjamins in the Benjamin factory depend on the Benjamin offices, for example. Some people are even different from all other people, such as ones with an eye, ear, nose, and throat. Some are professional go-kart drivers, and some hang onto the back and throw green shells at their opponents. Even super sexy postmen help in ways big and small to make this community a good place to live. In City Hall, there's men signing some papers while this woman pretends she can do politics just like they do. Police officers, after a quick Caucasian confirmation, help citizens with their daily lives. Even though the traffic light was invented in 1912, officers direct traffic to ensure that they still get a pension. This man is receiving a ticket for driving while fat, since he weighs an outrageous 190 pounds. The fire department puts out and starts fires all across the city. They're always ready day or night when the smackdown alarm sounds, and they have to drive in a hurry to apply some ointment to some sick burns. Bridge. Bridge builder. Streetlights make Millwood safer at night, and even more confusing during the day. The baker is too distracted to notice a giant nerd taking notes on how to steal his pastries. No good thieves also use modified trucks to steal all of the city's precious garbage. And there's a local park for children to frolic and play. In these parks, the city provides teeter-totters for the children to ride with their friends not included. There's time for Richard to play a game of kick the ball and wish Dad came home from Okinawa. The city has built jungle gyms for the kids. And for the grown-ups, taxes. Tennis is a gay sport. The happiest sport in the park, thanks to the city's tennis courts. And when people want to witness a live street gang turf war, there's always the Recreation Center. Available all year round is the city library, featuring more homeless men and secret sex acts than you can count. And here is the church that God commanded the city build lest he smote everything down in holy fire. Millwood also has a room with a dummy that's possessed by a ghost in it. The dummy is often distracted with cute virgins to prevent him from demolishing the church, which would cause God to smite the city with holy fire. The city even has its own watcher, the man who sees each and everything in the city of Millwood. Tonight's program from the Watcher is the Hudson Shower Camera. And playing tonight at the theater, it's Movie Time USA celebrating the Golden Jubilee of the American movie theater. Some evenings, Richard's father plays with his balls. He has his own bowling league with the homosexuals from the tennis courts. Ah, back to bed already, eh, Richard? You lazy bastard. Maybe tomorrow he'll finally find a job. But for now, he's back in dreamland, and thanks to modern brain scans, we can see exactly what he's dreaming about. He's of course dreaming that typical schoolboy dream. A dream of if he were a 48-year-old suburban father slowly realizing he's lived nothing but a life of conformity and monotony. Let's watch, shall we? Take it away, Mr. Anderson. Every Friday night, my wife's job is to stare at things we can afford in the newspaper to try and give me optimism for our post-war economy. After reminding her that we've got Truman in the White House now, it's time to unwind with some reading. At least it would be if little Janet knew that her Blackpink listening time has to be done at a volume that Daddy can read the paper at. Ah, the evening paper. All the fear-mongering and Times New Roman I can handle. And now today is Saturday, my work-from-home day. God forbid I ever relax. While I'm sifting through used condoms, my wife is out pretending we can afford fancy meals like snow apples and cheese food. We've got 4 kids, so food is a big cut into our budget. We once had plans to visit Hawaii and bring back some souvenirs. Instead, I got to visit by myself and got the souvenir of permanent shrapnel in my left kidney. So now, thanks to our unceasing grim reminder of how fragile our place in this world is, all my excursions have turned into supplying as much sustenance as I can for as many offspring as my wife can fire out. Where were we? Oh yeah, groceries. My wife's okay at shopping, I guess. Why is Agent Dale Cooper serving meat to my wife? Since it's Saturday, I'm doing what I look forward to the most, balancing our budget. You might think it's soul-crushing, tedious work. But crunching those numbers to find an extra 5 spending dollars at the end of the day makes the shots I buy at the bar after work all the more sweeter to ingest. As I started to unfold my check, I noticed something strange about the date on it. It was exactly 13 years ago that a man ruined both a country's reputation and a mustache in one fell swoop. And my new job at the munitions factory began. A lot of things changed for me on that first day. I was no longer a sleeping 10-year-old boy. I was a proud member of the Tool Die Journeymen who are sitting council. Every day, Jerry approaches me and tells me this is all a dream, that my real name is Neo, and that a black man in a trench coat wants to meet me in the lobby to sell me some pills. I don't buy any of it, and I call over the plant's government representative. I explained to Jerry that this man said everything is normal, and that my name is Mr. Anderson. Part of my duty on the council is to help set up recreational activities for the youngsters. I spot 2 shy boys, and after a bit of a pep talk, they're ready to get out there and... Wait a minute, that kid looks just like me. How did I get home? No, of course, I've always been home. And now I'm talking to my lovely wife, whose name I don't remember. But I remember deciding to build my own home with her. It was easy for me, someone with a blue-collar job, to moderately save enough for a house all by myself. In the future, I imagine home buying will be easier and more affordable than ever. We took $40, over half of our savings, and used it to apply for a loan. In just 3 short years, our new home was finished, and it looked just like everyone else's, goddammit. Then it was time for us to get acquainted with our new neighbors, which means... Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh brother, this scene isn't going to be just 2 women talking, is it? Could we maybe spare the viewing audience such punishment? Put on one of those scenes from that new Mad Max talking picture until this one's over. Ah, that's better. Why would anyone do drugs when they can just mow a lawn? But you know what's even better than mowing a lawn? Tricking your neighbor Benson into letting you borrow his lawnmower because you say yours doesn't work right. He's never getting this back. That fucking communist. Even an IKEA opened up in our neighborhood. And our Skarsmagoten table looks lovely when we adorn it with our jimble-jamble chairs. I have no idea who these 2 people are, but I better invite them in for a game of cards, or else they'll think I'm a communist. Where'd this 3rd couple come from? I don't even know. It's strange. Things keep popping in and out of my life as if I'm living in a dream. What happened to my friends? Neither my wife or I have missed voting in any election. You better believe every woman's body is my choice. And we also go to church, lest God smote everything down in holy fire. Everything in my life was perfect, except Janet started doing this weird thing. Her eyes were all watery and she wouldn't stop making these choking noises. As a man, I was never taught this sort of self-expression. It frightened and confused me. Janet had a note from her teacher that read, "If your father doesn't wake up soon, he'll be stuck in the dream world forever." I wasn't sure what that meant. I felt like I was losing my mind. But for the first time in my life, it was time to do something about my daughter's feelings other than try to beat them out of her. Helping my high school-aged daughter with her math homework is just like wearing a condom. It's something I thought I'd never have to do after my vasectomy. I thought the best thing to do was to find former President Andrew Jackson and have a conversation with him about what to do. But I'm a busy man, so I sent the best expert at talking about useless bullshit that I know in my place. My wife. My wife and President Jackson hit it off just fine. And yep, there it is. I'm bored again. Put the Australian car movie back on. I too have had my share of mishaps. Our knuckle breaker machine is particularly tantalizing, and I needed to see just how good it was at breaking knuckles. Turns out it's mighty good at it. I went to the plant infirmary with a coworker who I could tell loves tennis by the way he caressed my back. Luckily for me, my hand would eventually heal, and I was able to run back my sets at the next Marvel vs. Capcom tournament in Nevada. Another man touching my hand made me irrationally violent, and it took every fiber of my being to not punch this bozo in the lip for being a communist. Who knew a wrist shattered in 3 places could be fixed with a simple bandage? My daughter developed a fun new game called Grab Me by My Mangled Hand. But she'll get hers soon. she'll get hers. As will the rest of my family. One day, each and every one of them will see me for the real man that I am. I'll show them. I'll show them all. Soon they'll stop whispering to me, "Wake up, Richard, you have to wake up every night in my dreams." But as with everything, there's been bad times and there's been... Buying her that chocolate bar means I can't afford my mother's dialysis this month.